Okay, so if you haven't figured out, this is part 3, day 1, because there's only one day involved in doing all this. Putting a septic system in here next to the RV, but it's actually going to be way over here. He currently is going to go ahead and trench where the pipe to the septic system is going to go. So this is where the connections are going to be. This is what you're going to hook up to. And I got 2 of them going in. One right here and one next to the RV. And he told me just pull the slides in. So he apparently is pretty surgical with his abilities here. I'm going to get in front of him. Pretty sure he can fit his tractor in here pretty easily. You can see I've kind of marked where one of the pipes is going to go. One of the connections, drain outs, whatever you want to call it, clean out. I'm going to squeeze in here and want to make sure I am not in his way at all. It's just going to tear into this sand like it's nothing. It's got some stuff coming here. This is all used to make the right slope, right? Make sure the holes are deep enough.
Survey laser.
You guys ever run into like electrical cables that are underground that you just don't expect to be there?
Sir, sometimes you gotta kind of know what you're digging in.
Yeah.
Know what's around.
I called before I dug, and they said everything on this side is pretty much clear because all the power lines are up above and they don't go underground here. Did you find Jimmy Hoffa?
I found everything else, but anything good. I find water lines that people don't know are there all the time.
So I am told, and I had all this call before you dig, and the guy basically came out and he looked and he said, yeah, there's nothing on this side. So what you're doing here now is you're creating that gradual slope, right?
Right. We're going to take an elevation right here, and then as we go, every 4 feet, we'll go down about ½ an inch to give us 1/8 of an inch per foot drop.
Very cool, man. And he's been doing this for a long time, so this is certainly an area of expertise for him. Plus, he's also the engineer, so he knows exactly what he's doing. Okay, so what he's doing right here is he's using the laser level, and he wants a slope of 4 feet, ½ an inch down. So every 4 feet, it's dropping ½ an inch, and that's the slope he's creating for the pipe as it goes. This right here, what's the official term?
Clean out.
Clean out?
Clean out's what we call them. It's going to be your drop. Your port drop.
Sewer connection in RV term, right?
Yep.
I want one of these things so bad. You have no idea. All right, so we got the bigger truck coming in with the tank on the back. That is a cool rig. Check that thing out. That's what a 1,000-gallon concrete tank looks like. And that's the crane he's going to use to position it in place. Meanwhile, Nick is over here swapping out the bucket so he can start digging the hole for the tank. Ooh, check this beast out. Just lets you know how stable this soil is down here, or this sandy loam is. That's a beast right there. That's a T880. It's the same thing they build like cement trucks and dump trucks off of. And he's got a drop axle here on the front and the back. Oh, that is cool. Now I want one of these. You know, at first I thought 6,000 bucks. Man, what does it entail?
Number you were at.
Then all of a sudden you see all of this
We're gonna go.
and you realize why it can get pricey really quick.
Go 40.
It's like an old cowboy driving it too. Now I really want to interview this guy. That guy sounds just like Sam Elliott. It's one heck of a setup. Check out the frame on this thing. So this is where the tank is going. Oh. And I need to get out of the way. Has anybody ever told you you sound like Sam Elliott?
Really? A lot.
That's not a bad thing at all.
Not a bad thing at all.
How long you been doing this?
I've been driving truck 43 years. I've been doing this here for 10.
How long you been cowboying? That's what I want to know.
Since I was about 10.
I knew it.
And I've just always been out in the country.
Yeah. Hey, this is a beautiful truck you're driving too.
Oh, it's hard on the dude. This thing right here is the beauty of the fleet. There's 38 of these in the fleet for us. And this truck right here, it weighs, I rolled in your driveway here weighing about 56,000. The 558 crane, it'll reach out 33 feet, set 9,000 pounds at 33 feet.
So what you're telling me is this is what those signs that they put before bridges are for.
That crane has hit a bridge.
Oh man,
all 750,000, that's 380,000 of it right there.
that is insane.
That is crazy.
So how much you figure this thing weighs?
9,000 pounds.
9,000 pounds.
Never set it. Back up a little bit. I'm
Oh,
gonna
sure.
show you that past my strap here so I can roll them up.
This is a drain field tubing.
Good job. This thing here will set it, not even roll back.
It looks like it. And guys, for reference, that means this right here can pick up my F450 like it's nothing.
And load it on the back of
And load it on the back of the truck and go home. In other words, I don't want to make this guy mad.
This morning, I set a 500. The 500 ATU weighs about 21,000.
Man,
And I had trees all around me, oak trees all the way around me, and the guy didn't want to cut no trees out. So I backed up in there, set my outriggers out, picked the tank up, picked it straight up in the air on top of that crane, 30 feet, spun it around and come back down in between them trees and set that tank.
that dude's really cool. I really like him. All right. We got some progress here. So you were telling me earlier you're having some issues with the Packard in here.
Yeah, Packard engines, they ain't no good. There's too much mechanical stuff on there for the emissions and everything, and it just it ain't got it. They castrated the truck.
Yeah.
That 880 ought to be able to pull anything it wants to at 75. It won't even pull itself at 75.
Can you get this equipped with a Cummins
We already do.
or a Cat even?
We already do. We
Okay.
have ISXs and most of them. This is the only Packard in the fleet, and we don't like it. We won't put another one in.
So you got the nicest truck
I got
with the
nicest
worst
truck
engine.
With the worst engine. I
Man.
might as well have a Briggs and Stratton 13 horsepower.
I got one of those in the garage. I'll hook you up before you leave.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gutless. The motor, the Packard is a gutless motor. It ain't good for nothing. It'd be okay for running around town like Coca-Cola delivering stores, stuff like that. But for doing what we're doing, that ain't worth it. It's bad placement for the motor.
And you know, if Sam Elliott's telling you this, it's the truth. Yeah.
I'm not Sam Elliott, by the way, but he calls me every day to see how I'm doing. So.
Make sure the voice box is in tune, yeah? All right, Nick, so what are the dimensions here?
6 by 10.
About 6 feet deep?
48, let's see, 45, 50. Yeah. I think it's about 5 feet tall.
Okay. But the hole's about 6 feet, right?
The hole's every bit. We just go off the grade coming that way.
Ready?
Yeah. See how it sits.
The pains we go through to have a place to poop. All right, he's taking off. I'm gonna try to figure out how he plans on taking off though. He could try to do the circle. We got backfilling going on over here. So he's putting the dirt in. Puts it on the side, then kind of slides it in place. A lot of stuff going on here. Not sure which one I should film. And over here, he is doing all the plumbing. So basically going to be laying all the pipe in the ground. It's coming along really good. Just getting all the piping connected, right? And then I guess you cut the spot where you're going to put the
your clean out
drain.
will be, or the drop in will be over there.
Yep, and then I think we're putting another one right around
we'll
here.
be able to just easily cut that in and place that in here.
Good deal. You guys are doing amazing work. I really appreciate it.
Nah, no problem, sir. Yeah. Make sure it's done right is the #1 thing, you know.
Yep. Okay, so everyone took a real quick lunch break. He's back out here finishing the trench. He had to get another 20-foot piece of the 3-inch pipe and another piece of the 4-inch, I believe. This is the drain field pipe right here. Basically, the water can come through it and leach out of it into the surrounding dirt. It's kind of cool how you can work these excavators. This is the section that he has to add to get the actual pipe to the septic tank. And this is how he determines the grade. Okay, so a question I just asked Nick is, could this ever be converted into an aerobic system? And he says no. There's a specific type of testing process and tank that would be needed for that. This right here just has 2 lids. It's a 2-compartment baffled tank. So when you open these up, there's 2 500-gallon, essentially baffled sections in the tank. Am I saying that right?
Yep, 2 compartments with a baffle in between, so that we're getting kind of the center column of the water or waste in the trash tank. So we're getting the cleanest of the black.
Got it, overflowing to the second tank.
To the second compartment.
Oh, that makes sense. So the pipe's going to go through here, just finishing out the trench right here into the side of the septic. Okay, now the fun part. He's cutting into the 3-inch pipe. And this is where the first RV connection, clean out, whatever you want to call it, is going to be put in line. And you can see how it's going to curve into the pipe. The last thing you wanted is curving away from it. Otherwise, it has to go uphill then downhill again. Okay, so Nick has moved to the end. He's going to attach this over here. All right, so they have just placed the pipe in the ground, put more of it in over there. Very cool. Right now it's kind of a primitive phone system. So he can talk in this end, and yeah, this is we have a restaurant here where you actually order through this pipe. But yeah, he doesn't need a radio. You can just talk to him over there on it. I'm sure there's somebody out there that was going to assume you would just try to bend the PVC around the corner there, thinking that's the right way to do it.
We can. We use a heat gun all the time when there's certain angles that we need to snap a 22 or a 45. You get the heat gun, heat up the pipe, and bend it to fit.
Okay, so all the plumbing connections are made. It's going into the side of the septic tank. That's a 4-inch pipe right there, 3-inch pipe. Going all the way down to the 2 cleanouts. And they are going to be installing the drain field on the other side over here. That's why he now has the 2-foot wide bucket on. Okay, so he is currently making the drain field. Branching off this way, branching off that way. Okay, so as much as I don't want to, he made a compelling argument to remove this tree. Well, honestly, I didn't think it was going to be that easy. I thought it was going to be a little bit more climactic. Huh.
Stack it here with the other one?
Sure. Now he's going to go ahead and dig the root out. Oh, I want one of these so bad. Oh, that is so cool. My tractor struggles with a root, like a 2-inch root. I really want one of these excavators. I don't think I've said that enough. Okay, so now that the tree is gone, he can make the drain field kind of pretty much branch off of this main. So it'll come out here and it can go 1, 2, 3. So it can go straight back instead of having to try to curve around the trees, because he likes to stay 10 feet back from any tree. All right, Nick, so the only reason I'm including this one segment is because I commented on your comfortable slip-on footwear. Very interesting, you know. Everyone has boots and he wore his slippers. Actually, this is because he needs something that's a little bit softer. What would you say?
Light for now.
Light for now.
Surgery.
He had back surgery, so hence the back brace. And these are actually steel toe.
They're steel toe.
That's crazy.
Red Wing.
Yeah, Red Wing, he was hitting him on the corner of his tractor and denting his tractor, so I don't know if that's wrong, but yeah. So anyways, any of you who are commenting on his slippers, that's why he's wearing them. So Nick is actually walking me over real quick so we can look inside of a septic tank. All right, so the first one.
So you have a T there to stop the flow so it doesn't agitate the movement in the tank.
Gotcha.
You want to keep anaerobic, real still, not disturbed. So this way the waste hits the T and just shoots it down so it can have its retention time so things can settle out appropriately.
And then the center tank, you don't have to open it if you don't want to.
No, it's no big deal. They all have safety lids.
And you're going to put risers on. The front one, this center one never really has to be accessed, he says. So he's putting 6-inch risers on both the front and the back access holes. Because I was kind of wondering, because right now it's below grade, so I was going to see what was going to happen here. Okay, so there's that baffle you talked about.
Yep, concrete center wall. They'll all just fill up, and then the center column, so you're not getting anything that's sludge on the bottom, and you're not getting anything that's floating on top, like the toilet paper and,
that is
and
cool.
anything floating. So we're getting the calmest, the cleanest of the trash.
Okay, so this tank essentially fills with solid waste.
Yep.
And then the liquid waste would go into this tank right here. So when you pump out this one, you're pumping out all the poo and toilet paper and stuff like that.
Right.
You might get some small particles that make it over here.
Right.
That's why you'll pump out that side of it. And then mainly all the liquid is going to go out into the drain field here.
2 stages of kind of filtering it out. You have the sludge that'll break down to an end point, which is like a mud. And you'll have a sludge layer at the bottom, and then what we call a scum layer is the top layer.
Okay.
Things that are just waiting to kind of break down. Most important thing, don't flush wipies.
Don't flush wipies.
They say flushable, which is, yeah, they flush all right, but they don't break down in a septic tank. They turn into a brick.
Really?
Yep.
Throw them away.
Hate 'em.
Throw them in the trash can. Don't
Yep.
throw them in the
Yep.
in here. This is crazy. And don't go exploring in your septic tank because you're curious and wondering what sludge and a slurry looks like.
No, poisonous gases. Says
Yeah.
it on the lids.
Interesting.
And,
So again, yeah, he's going to put a 6-inch riser here. Once you're done putting the, I guess the third little drain field out here, is that a good name for it, drain field?
Yep.
You're going to have to leave most of it uncovered so the inspector, the county inspector has to come in and inspect
Right.
everything.
And they're going to look at the tank, look at the baffles. There'll be another T on the exit here, and then we'll have our solid manifold, and then we'll have the pipe exposed on the ends so they can see it and give us the go ahead, and we cover it up.
So percentage wise, I would say 98% more difficult than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally not something I could grab a shovel and start doing.
No.
Do people do that? Have you ever been to somebody's property where they have, you know, you're putting a septic system in and you see a wheelbarrow and a couple shovels from where they attempted to start doing it themselves?
I've seen some pretty interesting things through the years.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
Pipes just run out onto the ground. Somewhat attempts at trying to dig a trench, just putting 2-inch pipe as the drain field. Some gravel, sometimes no gravel, sometimes just a hole with a tin on it.
Well, you guys have been doing it right, because from the beginning all the way back, you have constantly been making sure everything is going down grade.
Downgrade going this way, these stair step down, the trenches themselves are level.
Okay, okay.
So this way you don't have it flowing down to the end and you'll have a blowout.
No,
So
exactly.
you want equal distribution is the name of the game, and the trenches are actually level, but they're at a grade 12 inches below the outlet of the tank. The outlet is 3 inches lower than the inlet, so your tank remains full.
Okay.
1 gallon goes in, 1 gallon goes out. It goes out into the drain field, which is, like I said, 12 inches lower than the outlet. So this way that will completely saturate before you have any kind of backup.
Okay, now here's kind of an awkward question. I guess I've never had a new enough septic system to know this. Once this is done, once the inspector comes out, says everything's great, you're going to backfill everything, put all the dirt back in, level everything off, make sure your risers, all that stuff.
Yep.
But this is a 500-gallon tank.
1,000 gallon.
But this half of the
Oh,
baffle,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
I'm sorry, this half of the tank is 500, that half is 500. How do you initially, do you just, from running a shower, stuff like that, is that the initial filling this up, or do we need to fill this
we're gonna
up?
run some water into it. We
Okay.
wanna put at least a couple feet into it in case there's a random heavy rain event. These things will float out of the ground.
Now, I know I've asked this before, but I don't know if I asked it on camera. But once this is all backfilled, you're going to go over it with the excavator, compact it down a bit, and then if I'm needing to drive over it, just try not to drive over the actual trench.
With the trench, right.
With the
Try to
trench.
drive perpendicular over them. And just be conscious if you see wet, moist. You want to just kind of let it do its thing and not really drive heavy equipment over it.
Got it, got it.
Shouldn't have an issue.
Yeah, you'll probably see some really lush green grass in this area. Trees growing really nice. Just remember, that is poop and pea fed. So, anyways, yeah, we're almost done with, I guess, today's work. Then we have to get the inspector out here, put the tops on, put the manifold in.
One other thing I get a
Yeah.
question all the time is, can you do a garden on it? Or can you use it for like your aerobic to spray your
Yeah,
fruit
that
trees?
sounds nasty.
Answer's no.
Yeah.
If it's a closed loop, then yes. If you're the only one using the toilet and you're the only one eating the fruit, then by all means you can do it. But once you have other people using it, then the possibility of transferring viruses is a possibility, and
Yeah.
therefore you don't.
So funny story, if you don't have a sprinkler system in your home and sprinklers pop up, it's your septic system. And don't let the kids run and play in the sprinkler system, because that was an interesting story at a house that we actually looked at. They're like, yeah, they put the system in, and the first time we moved in, the sprinklers came up, the kids are thinking, wow, slip and slide, and they were all having a good old time in the aerobic sprinkler system.
Don't recommend it.
Yeah, probably
Usually
not a good
they're
thing.
on nighttime spray. So
Yeah.
if they're going up during the day, your timer's off, or you're using a lot of water.
Or you just like to run through sprinklers at night.
People like it.
Well, I appreciate it. We're probably going to wrap this video up. This is going to be probably more parts than I thought, because I don't like to do anything more than about 12 minutes worth of video. So far, I probably have 3 hours worth of content. So we're going to see what we can do to narrow this down a little bit. But anyways, guys, I sure hope you've enjoyed this journey so far. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, because, you know, this project's still going on and it's going to be fun to follow. Anyways, I'll talk to you again very soon.